Hi everybody, and welcome back to Plastic Models by a Regular Dude. And today I'm going to do my April review update. Hi everybody, and welcome back to Plastic Models by a Regular Dude and my April update. So what's been going on? So here's the deal. I got one project completed and I have two projects near completion. So I had a pretty good month. Got to do a little bit of work. So what did I get completed? The first, the one, well, I actually got two projects completed. Let me talk about this one first. This is a Lindbergh Heinkel 111. I got this from my kids sometime back, and I was going to use it for a video on painting German aircraft, and this kit was just kind of not real great and things weren't going that well. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to finish this thing up, you know, because my kids got it for me, and just hang it up on the back of the work area here just to admire. It was fun. It was a real struggle though. These older kits, some of them don't fit together very well at all, especially the old Lindbergh kits. But I did get this done, and there you have it. One thing I did notice, and if anybody could give me any tips down below, I'd appreciate it. It seems like in the German colors, the RLM colors, the two colors that seem to be used most frequently, I think it's RLM 70 and 71, I think. Every time I've ever used them, there is hardly any difference at all in the two colors. And from some of the stuff I've seen online, some other models, I mean, you get some good, you know, color separation, you know, in that splinter camo that German aircraft sometimes have. So, I don't know if people are like lightening one up or whatever, but it's just, you know, like that Heinkel I just showed you, especially when you start doing any weathering on it, it looks like just one solid color. So any tips, put them in the comment section down below, because, you know, I got a project coming up that I need some help on. So the second kit I got done was the TACOM 1/35 scale King Tiger with Porsche turret, or pre-production turret, however you like to phrase it. Box says Porsche turret, with full interior. Now that was a really fun kit. Got that from Patrick Schaefer. Thanks again, Patrick, if you're watching this. I enjoyed the build. Very involved build with the interior and stuff like that on it, and it was a lot of fun. And when I got it done, I was really stoked. Here is a couple of pictures of it. So it turned out good. I didn't get crazy with it, getting it dirty and stuff like that, because my intention is, for those of you who may not have seen me talk about the kit, I want to do a diorama. Never done one. This one's going to be really simple though, kind of, you know, get my feet wet, so to speak. But what I want to do is have a base with a couple of like walls on the back, with the, you know, kind of set at an angle, with the tank in it like it's in a museum, with a placard next to it, you know, or information board, and then maybe like a railing or one of those, you know, velvet rope divider things, separating the museum visitors from the actual displays, and have like a parent and a child looking at it, maybe a few other people. I don't want to get too complex with it, because, you know, again, it's just mainly a way to display the tank, and have it make sense, because it's not clean. You know, the tracks are obviously used and dirty. There's dust and a little bit of, you know, dust and stuff on it. So I wanted to kind of represent a working museum piece like say Tiger 131. When you see it in the museum, it looks fairly clean, but you can tell it does get used. Tracks are dirty, stuff like that. So I just kind of went with some light weathering, light dirt. Obviously used running gear. I'm going to add oil stains, stuff like that. One of the things I want to do is put like a drip pan or something like that under the back where the engine is, with some like oil stains and that, like there's, you know, it's an old engine, so it's leaking a little oil, that kind of thing, just to put it on a display. And I built it in a way that you can see the interior if you pick it up and look at it. I didn't want to do one of those kind of exploded looking things like some people do. I've seen that done quite a few times, and I just didn't want to do that. But I do want to be able to look inside, like, you know, if somebody comes over and says, hey, just, you know, what does it look like on the inside? I can take the top plate off the turret so you can see the detail from above. Pull the turret out, you can see the detail from below. The engine, so then, you know, you can see down inside, but you can also take the front plate off where the hatches are. You can take that off so you can see down the driver's compartment, see the radio, controls. If you look real carefully, you can see the transmission and all that kind of stuff. And then you can also take the engine deck cover off so you can see the engine. So you can't see everything that was done, but there's so much in there that you can look in there and just really see what's going on. So that's where I did that one. So I got that complete for the month. So didn't get anything else finished, but I got some things really close to being finished. So let's take a look at those real quick. So I started off, I've actually been working on this since last month and got a lot of this done this month. It's the Asuka 135th scale M4A 376 wet VVSS late. Sometimes they're referred to as, yeah, a Sherman. But from what I gather, this is like the last version that had the vertical volute suspension on it. So here's what I've got done so far. It is all completed, except for Periscope Guards, and I'll talk about those in a minute. But I got the Periscope Guards. The tools, I left those off so I could paint those separate, and then I'll put them on and do all the detailing together. I've got the tracks, and I am using the kit supplied tracks because the detail is really good on them. It's got the extended in connectors and all that business, so I'm going to be using the kit tracks. Have the barrel that came with it, and some photo etch. And this kit was actually sent to me by Harold Adams, another one of my online modeling friends, and he sent this kit to me, and I've been working on it, and done some additions, like I added weld beads and stuff like that. You know, I added some cast texture to the transmission / differential cover. Did some on the turret as well, the mantlet. And I also, you know, here's the photo etch parts here, which really add a lot because, you know, it makes them so much more in scale. He also sent some of the Archer resin foundry markings. So the ones that are on the kit, they're kind of, you know, kind of light, not real pronounced. So I shaved those off and replaced them with these resin things. And if you look at the build log I'm doing on this, you can see how I did it. But man, those things work really, really good. And I really like the way they apply to the kit. You know, they're like super, they just look great. There's no film, no nothing. One of the other things I did on this kit is it has molded on loops, strap, attachment points, whatever you want to call them, because straps go through those to hold the tools in place in their various holders. So I did that on there. But this one's coming along, and the thing I was waiting for, like I said, was the Periscope Guards. I've got those, and I'll talk about those in a minute. But that is the kit that I'm getting real close to being ready for paint on. The next one I've been working on, and I've got to the primer stage, and now I'm getting ready to do the paint, is this one was sent to me by Peter Person. And this has been a really good kit. It's the Edouard 1/48 scale BF 109 E3 weekend edition kit, which means comes one set of decals and no photo etch, no extra stuff. It's just the plastic set of decals, instructions, and it's been a really good kit so far. The fit has generally been overall really good. No weird things going on too much. There was a few things I had to kind of wiggle around and get to fit right, and I talk about it in the build log, which, you know, I've been posting parts of. But on this one, normally I like to do something different, kind of more unusual things. And this one came with Joseph Priller's markings from like 1940 or something. And a lot of people do that kit. It's an interesting scheme because it has the splinter scheme on here, and then they did some RLM 02 over that. And it was kind of interesting, but, you know, there's a lot of people that have done that, so I want to do something that you don't really see that often. So I went with this here. This is the markings of Hans Illner right here. So what I did is I posted a message on some of the forums saying I wanted something a little bit different. I got a ton of really excellent suggestions and different schemes and stuff like that. But one guy contacted me. His name's Dennis Brown, and he said he had a set of decals that I might be interested in. And he told me about them, and I took a look at them, and I thought, you know what, that is just what I want to do. Something different. And what it is there is a mouth on the bottom. Instead of shark's teeth or something weird like that, it's an actual mouth. And here's the actual decals here he sent me. We worked out a trade. I sent him the Priller decals from the Edouard kit, and he sent me these. These guy here are really super quick, and unfortunately he hasn't got his yet. So if you're watching this, Dennis, I'm gonna be contacting you via messenger and find out what's going on. But anyway, these are the decals specific to this person's aircraft, and then I have just the general stencils and stuff like that for that. But it's got this really cool color scheme here. It looks kind of complicated, but I don't think, you know, once I get going it'll be as complicated as it looks. It's got a yellow spinner with some RLM overspray on it. It's got a white tail with a yellow top on it. So that's kind of cool. It's got all the various decals. Then on the upper wings, it's kind of, you know, underneath is RLM 65, underneath the whole thing. On the top, it's got a splinter camouflage of the two colors that give me fits, which are RLM 70. Let's see. Yeah, RLM 71, 02, and 65. With RLM 02, 70, and 74 mottling. So I should have a good variation of color on it, but then it's got this RLM 70 sprayed over top of it, so just kind of an added thing that makes it kind of interesting, and it'll be a little bit of a challenge to paint it. So that's what I'm looking for. So that is the BF 109 E3. So those are the kits that I have on the go right now. And then once I finish those, I have another kit that was sent to me by Peter Person. It's the Tamiya M3A1 Scout car. This is a newer, 2018 release. I've only done like one Soviet vehicle to completion, and that was the Tamiya T-3476, the old molding of it. And I built that a long time ago. Started a Dragon kit of the T-30. It was an OT 3476, which had a flamethrower on it, and that kit was atrocious. So that one got relegated to a plastic storage container somewhere. But this will be the next one. I haven't decided if I'm going to do a step-by-step on this one, or if I'm just going to kind of do this one as kind of a relaxing build with no pressure video or anything like that. Just build it for myself on the desk here and maybe do some general updates on it. But I am going to be working on figures. That is my weak point when it comes to modeling. So I'm going to use all the figures in this kit, and I'm going to paint them all up, and I'm going to put them in here just like it shows on the picture. So I've challenged myself to do that. Faces are the part that scares me. So anyway, this will be one that I'll be starting hopefully sometime this month if I get these other ones completed. So Periscope Guards. So here are some Periscope Guards. These were sent to me from Malta sometime back, and it took them forever to get here. That's a long ways. So I was kind of waiting on these to finish up the M4A3 that I'm working on, and because I thought I had some of these, but I didn't. I didn't really want to use the photo etch because they're flat instead of like round bar material welded together. So it just so happens that someone posted on one of the Facebook groups that he had extras of these, and if anybody wanted any, just give him your address and he'll send them to you. And his Facebook name is The Model Bench, and so he said, hey, I'll send them out. So I said, cool. So waited. It takes a long time for stuff. I didn't know where they were coming from actually at first. I knew they were coming from afar, but I didn't realize they were coming from Malta. So I waited, and then I thought, I better contact him and let him know that I haven't gotten these, and I'm just, haven't let him know and thanked him properly for them, because if somebody sends me something, I like to let them know that it arrived safely, offer up some thanks to them for sending it, just so they know it got here, and that I'm properly grateful. And he wasn't sweating it, and he was just concerned that they hadn't got here yet because somebody else in the States had gotten theirs, the United States. So he told me where that person, what state that person was from, and it's on the East Coast, so expect a bit more of a delay. So we waited, and still nothing. So he contacted me again, and I said, no, still nothing yet, but hey, it could take a while. By then I knew they were coming from Malta, and that's a fair piece for my neck of the woods. So anyway, next day they showed up. Well, before they showed up, and before I'd talked more to him about it, I thought, man, I wonder. So I contacted another friend of mine, Ben Brandis. Says, hey, do you have any extra Periscope Guards? Because we've sent some stuff back and forth. He said, I sure do. I'll get them mailed to you. And he mailed them to me. And the day after he mailed them to me, these showed up. So I'm going to have plenty of Periscope Guards for my Sherman projects. So the Model Bench in Malta, thank you very much for these. If you're watching this, they're great, and they are definitely going to get used quick. Ben Brandis, thanks for sending yours, and I'll let you know when they get here. So last thing I'm going to talk about is a huge save I did. So I have this Iwata HP M2 single action airbrush, and I really like this airbrush. super convenient to use, single action, perfect for doing primer, for doing single color base coats, clears, whatever. I mean, it works really good. I think it's a 3.5 millimeter. It's not 3.5 millimeter. Whatever it is, 3.5 nozzle. And it's just right for doing that kind of stuff. And it's, you know, like I said, it's really simple to use. It's easy to clean. Nice big cup. It's small, easy to use. So in using this thing, I noticed when I was doing my X-Wing some months back, I was having some trouble because as soon as I started to use it, put some paint in it, and started spraying with it, the trigger would stick down. So it's like, okay, what's going on? So I looked at it and I couldn't see anything amiss. Contacted Iwata. I think it's their office in the States is up in Washington. They said, you know, try some lube on the try some lubricant, their lubricant, which is a super lube stuff by Iwata Media. Basically what it is I generally don't like to take this out this way, but said to put some on here and then you know, work it back and forth to make sure it's lubricated good. So I did that, and it seemed like it worked okay until I put paint in it again. And it seemed to only do it when I put fluids in the cup. It didn't matter if it was paint or if it was just thinner or whatever. I think I even did it with distilled water, and it would stick. So you'd let go of the trigger and it'd still spray just for half a second or a second, and it was just really annoying. So I was kind of bummed. So I thought, oh man, maybe I got something in here, because one time when I was dumping this thing, instead of dumping it out the front with some solvent in there, I dumped it this way. So some might have gone back up through there. And I think my Teflon seal inside was kind of loose. It wasn't properly tight on the needle. So I thought, oh man, I've gotten something inside of here. So I took this off, looked at it, and it was working like a champ. It wasn't like any sticking at all. So contacted them. They said I could send it back, you know, after I tried, you know, the lube, which didn't work. And, you know, this stuff, I don't really like this. It just seems kind of, you know, as it dries, it seems to just get kind of waxy or something. It's kind of weird. But so in looking further, where this goes through the body here into where the actual air valve is, there's an O-ring. And I thought I probably got some thinner or something on there, or paint or something, and it's messed it up and made it gooey, because, you know, sometimes flexible materials like that can get messed up and they get kind of sticky. And so I thought, you know, before I send it, I'm going to try one more thing. So I took this off, pulled the O-ring out, and dropped it in one of my little cups with my media, you know, the Iwata brand acrylic paint cleaner, and just let it sit in there. I went down to a hardware store and found some really small O-rings, but they weren't small enough. They're kind of close, but not quite. They're a little bit large. So I think, well, last ditch, I'll just see what happens. So I wiped the O-ring down really well and got it all cleaned up. And then for lubrication, I used some avocado oil that I use for cooking. I thought, what can it hurt at this point? It's vegetable oil, so it shouldn't dissolve anything. And boom. It has been working like a champ ever since. So I saved having to send this and spend a minimum of $35 plus shipping to get it looked at, cleaned, and evaluated. And I probably would have had to pay for an O-ring, which probably wouldn't have been much, but you know, I was looking at a good 45 bucks probably. So I saved my airbrush with a little bit of cleaner and some avocado oil. So if you ever have anything happen like that, it might be something to consider and keep in mind. So The Iwata HPM2 is back on the bench, and my stable is currently these two airbrushes. The Neo for Iwata for the fine double action work. This for everything else. So that's it. That's what's going on the bench for Plastic Models by a Regular Dude. That is my April update. Hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it, hopefully. My incessant blabbing. But so stay tuned to see the completion of the BF109E3, the Asuka Sherman M4A3, and hopefully the start of the Tamiya M3A1 Scout car. So that's pretty much it. Now I do have one request for those of you who comment that I don't subscribe to your channels already. If you have YouTube channels, maybe in the comments section you could put a link to your channel so I can check it out. I like to check out new channels from time to time, and you know, if you put a link there, I can check it out and subscribe and all that jolly stuff. So if you can do that, I'd appreciate it. Also, if you've had any experience with whatever it was I mentioned early on, which I've just gone totally blank. Oh yeah, the two dark colors on German aircraft, and if you have the same problem of them being super close in color, or maybe I just sprayed the wrong color on them, I don't know. But put your comments down below. So anyway, that's it for this edition of Plastic Models by a Regular Dude and my monthly update for April. So thanks for watching. Any hints, tips, comments, suggestions, anything else, put them in the comments section down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you all later.